Hi, I'm Bob Kraus. I'm president of the Veterans National Recovery Center. And today, this is episode 3, and we are talking to Abby Williamson Pearson, who was a victim of spousal abuse in the United States Army after her loving husband came back with a very bad case of PTSD, and people around him were committing suicide. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce Abby Pearson so that she can tell you what happened. Abby?
Hi. Halloween night of last year, I was ran over in my driveway. My husband was behind the wheel. The accident took it crushed it's hard to explain. If you've ever heard of degloving,
Is that where the skin comes off the leg?
yes, it's where the skin and muscle and everything comes off. My foot came off. I smacked my head pretty hard, resulting in a brain injury, a lot of things. But he had just been out of the hospital for 2 weeks. He was in the hospital. He had tried to kill himself. I begged the hospital not to release him. They told me there was nothing wrong with him. I had begged his leadership before then to help. They told me that there was nothing wrong with him. And that night, he told me he was going to kill himself again. And I believed him. Though he had been terrible to me, I still knew there was someone in there. He was not too far gone. I wanted to help him. I wanted my husband back, and I chased after him. He remote started his car, and he never saw me behind him. Anyways, he was surprised to find me under the car, and he immediately panicked, and he was afraid. You could see in his eyes that the blood and the gore did not bother him. He had seen it. But it was me, and he'd done this, and he said, "They're going to arrest me. I'll be in jail for the rest of my life." And so I told him to call 911, and he did. And I've heard the tape, and in the background, he's making the call. He sounds just very emotionless, sort of take charge. I believe that was his training kicking in. And in the background, you can hear me screaming it doesn't sound human. But I was screaming for his help. But after he made the call, he was pacing around, scared. And so I told him I was still worried about him. Looking down at my leg bones glistening, a pool of blood under me. My skin was puddled up like candle wax. And I told him, I just said, run. And he looked at me confused, and then he ran. And I laid in the driveway. I did not know he had called 911. And I was alone. And I was laying in my own blood. And it started to hit me, the pain. It hurt. But I stopped screaming because nobody was around. And I didn't want to die screaming. I didn't want my kids inside to hear me and to find me dead. I didn't know where he'd went. He'd went inside, if he'd killed himself, I was laying there looking at our house. And then I hear, after a while, it seemed like forever, a police car pull up, one single police car in the cul-de-sac, and park at the top of the driveway. And one officer got out with a flashlight, and he made no more than a couple of steps before he picked up his radio, and he told them to get the helicopter ready, that our local hospital would not be able to fix this. And then it hit me that I was dying. And he got down and he kneeled down to me, and I just wanted to make sure that they moved me before I died and my children didn't see me. And he kept asking me my name, and I kept over and over and over just asking about my children and my husband. Please find him. Please find him, because he's suicidal, and now that he's done this, he's, I don't know what he's gonna do. And the next thing I know, they're cutting my clothes off. And then I'm in an ambulance. And then I'm in a helicopter. And I'm still asking about my kids and him. And then I'm being rushed down the hallway of the ER at Grady. And I'm passing rooms with people screaming and bleeding, and some were silent. They were dead. And I knew I was gonna die. And they had put my foot on the stretcher with me, and for whatever, it slipped out, it fell off. And I called out for him, my husband, to get it, and he wasn't there. And that's all I remember, really, until vaguely some surgeries. I spent a few months in the hospital, and I still didn't really know where he was, what was going on. It's all like a dream.
So
a bad dream.
let's take a quick break here, Abby, and then we will come back for episode 4. Episode 4, we'll talk about the aftermath and the inability of the United States Army to provide financial assistance for you, since your husband is now, I believe, in jail. So please stay with us. This is Bob Krause. I'm president of the Veterans National Recovery Center, and we're talking to Abby Pearson, and we are going to end this episode, episode 3. In just a moment, we will start episode 4.